guys, and welcome to Sit and Knit for a Bit. I'm your host, Melissa. You can find me on Ravelry at Aurora Evermore. I'm going to try to leave a little link to that in my show notes, and I might link my projects there as well for you guys. I know I haven't done it in the past, but I'm going to try to see if I can. I don't think it's hard. I just need to get around to doing it. Anyway, I am recording from my phone this time. I've been having some storage issues, and my phone apparently has more storage than my iPad for some reason, and but my battery is at like 75%, and of course my charger won't reach where I have it all set up, so hopefully this won't die. If it does, oh god, I just hope it doesn't. So we're going to try to make this quick. As you can tell, I'm in a little bit of a different view today. I'm trying to capture some sunlight. I'm doing this a little bit early, although I think if I don't hurry, I'm actually going to have direct sunlight on me now that I spent 30 minutes trying to clear out the iPad out of its memory and it didn't do anything. I also left the baby gate open and the door open because it's hot again. So you'll probably be seeing lots of, don't jump up there, lots of critters. It's dangerous up there. That would have been Amelia that walked behind, and now she wants to jump up on the counter. And there's, I'm glad she didn't break it. There's breakable stuff and pointy knitting needles sticking up in a little vase that she almost impaled herself on. Cats. Today I'm actually drinking an iced coffee. Because it's just so hot. I got off work a couple hours ago, went to Walmart, and I just couldn't get the car cooled down, even though it's not even 100 degrees out. It's only 99 degrees. I just was hot, and so I was like, iced coffee, please, please. Yes, I can't do anything hot right now. I even put some shorts on. I was like, no, hot. You also might see a couple of dogs walking by. Actually, there's a dog right behind me, but she's so small you probably won't see her. You probably won't see anything until they cross the little pathway. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is that I have two FOs, finished objects, that I want to share with you. One of them is those lovely wrist warmers for the lady I cat sit for. And in fact, starting tomorrow, I will be cat sitting for her, and so I'm going to drop them off at her house. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to podcast, is because I'll be giving these away shortly. And so I wanted to show you guys. These are oh my goodness. Cibrellas? Bamboo stitch wrist warmers. It's my little notes for the spelling, and it's my sloppy handwriting. I apologize. I quickly wrote it down because once again my memory on my battery on my phone was going dead. As I get a little fuzzy on my eye, which I think is still there. There we go. So anyway, here they are. They're a little bit shorter. They're more like, I guess, they're not too bad. This is a Malabrigo fingering weight yarn. I know it's kind of dark, which they are a dark pattern or a dark yarn. I did change the pattern a lot. The original pattern was more like these, like just sleeve ends. There was no holes for thumbs, and I wanted to add those, and so I just YouTubed how to add in a thumb. And it was pretty much just told you right where you wanted the thumb, increase a little bit. I don't know if you have to, but I went ahead and just did. And then you just literally just, instead of knitting in the round, you just knit flat then. And so between those two stitches, they don't ever connect. And so you just end up just knitting back and forth like this. And then when you're done, then you start knitting in the round again. So it was actually really simple. For me, I have a pretty big thumb instep. That one was Riri. And kind of like my heel, I guess. So if I ever make these for myself, I'll probably make these a little bit bigger. And in fact, my next ones I'm going to start making a little bit bigger. I think the lady is a little bit small, on the smaller side, so these should fit her just fine. And then also the pattern had like this ruffle end, and I didn't want to do that. I just wanted something simple. And not that I didn't want her to have that, but am planning on knitting these for another person. She ordered, a acquaintance of mine, she saw that what I was knitting, and she ordered these, and she didn't want the ruffles, and I was like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and just not do the ruffle part on these, and that way I know what I'm doing. The lady that's getting these, she has no idea, so I just thought I'd show you guys these. The pattern is a nice rib, so it is very stretchy. And these were done on the pattern calls for 3.5 millimeter, and the little bamboo needles I grabbed said 3.5, but if you put them through those little measuring things, it was actually 325. So I guess they're a little bit tighter than they're supposed to be. I don't know, but it worked out. I like it. The yarn is the Malabrigo, this brand, or this color. And I have a lot left. I'm thinking that if she really likes them, maybe I can knit her like a little beanie. You know, if she makes me another bag, maybe I'll make her a beanie. That way it matches, or maybe just a scarf. I don't know. That'd be a long, big scarf with stocky weight. But anyway, it did not take me long. I pretty much got most of one done in like a full day off, like sitting at home watching TV. That's Ev, also known as Evelyn. And so it was pretty fast. It's got these little, they're not really a slip stitch. That's my shirt you're chewing on. It's a pass over. You have a yarn over, but then you pass that yarn over a couple of stitches, and it creates these little, I don't even know if they'll show up, these little like cross stitches. You can kind of see them here. There's a nice big pink one right there. So it's kind of nice, still nice and ribbed and stretchy. You see how small they are, but then they stretch out pretty well. So very happy. So with that, I'll go ahead and show you, I'll talk about the next cast on of those, and then I'll talk about my other finished object, just so we stay on the same subject. So when I started to knit the next pair, it's a completely different yarn. I had trouble with, I don't know, they're both fingering weight yarn, so I don't understand, but it looks better, it looks fine now because I actually went down a size of needle. I went to a 3.0 millimeter, and then I actually added 8 extra stitches because it's a 4 repeat, so I added 2 more repeats for this yarn. When I did it with the other needles and count, it was too loose of a fabric. It was very, I call it holy, and you could really see through it. You could still kind of see through it, which you know, compared to the other one, yes, this is a lighter color, so you'll be able to see more, but I mean, it was really bad, and it was kind of bothering me. And with this color, you can actually see those passover stitches better. It's my little honeycomb progress keeper. I actually just ordered some more bee progress keepers. I love my bee progress keepers. So this yarn, so anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of play it by ear about you know, just kind of get to know I don't know what yarn it is, and I don't know why I got a different, I guess, gauge. This is Tina's Twisted Fibers, that pinkish color, and the colorway is Mountain Fall. Kind of have it folded. And so I'm hoping, I'm sorry, the fiber knows. I'm hoping to get these done within the next few days. This is all I've done because I pretty much got to this part, maybe a little bit less, and I was just like, I was not liking it, so I ripped it all back and restarted. But once again, I've got a 3.5 day weekend this weekend. Now I do have some homework to do, but I'm planning on anytime I'm watching TV, I'll be knitting these, except I do have to get caught up on my temperature blanket. I'm again behind on that. But my goal is that I work on the temperature blanket while I'm reading my textbook, which is not enough to keep up with it. I do get a couple squares done, but obviously not 7 days worth. And so my thing is that any of the squares I still need to get done, I have to get them done before the end of the weekend. If I get that done by the end of the weekend, I can spend the rest of the weekend knitting on something else. And it seems to be working that way. That way I don't get too far behind. And once again, I don't like to, I'm sorry, I'm talking really fast, but I'm so afraid it's gonna die. Or something bad's gonna happen. So just bear with me. It's gonna be very energetic today. Anyway, that way I don't get too far behind. But I also don't have to pull out that giant blanket every day or whatever. I just pull it out and just kind of carry it with me and just get it done. And so it worked out really well last weekend, and I think I'm going to stick to that plan. Okay, so those are the wrist warmers. This is like a pumpkin spice iced coffee. I got it at Starbucks. Some people like it, some people don't, but I was dying of thirst and I was hot, and I was like, I got a Starbucks app, I could just order it. I just didn't get any of the creamer in there because I'm trying to lose some weight. This was still because of the syrup, the pump, but I wanted sweet anyway. Because their coffee is so strong, it's bitter if you don't get any kind of sweetener. Where when I make coffee at home, don't call me, I know you want attention. I make it a lighter, not as harsh. Okay, I knew somebody was coming. So anyway. Okay. My other FO, which I'm super happy to get finished, is my sister's shawl. And I've talked about how it stresses me out to knit for somebody else because I'm not sure they're gonna like it. Here, oh, it actually goes with what I'm wearing. I hope she likes it. She wants something where it be stretchy and she can wrap herself in. So I'm really hoping that this does that for her. Oh, it's hot. I'm not exactly sure if this is exactly what she was wanting, but it's at least something. There's a little like hiccup here. I'm hoping that over time it will kind of work its way and loosen up and not look so obvious. Oops, sorry. Of course, this is gonna be a hot mess, but just a simple triangle shawl from top to bottom, where you cast on 3 and then you just increase on the correct side. You increase on each end and then twice in the middle with a middle stitch running through. And this was Caron Simply Soft yarn, and the colorway white. I had that in my little see-through bag. I can show you the ball band. Caron Simply Soft. Pretty well. I literally had this much left. I did really well on my yarn chicken. Once again, I'm just happy to be done with it. I did not like the physical knitting of it. It was hurting my hands. I don't like big bulky yarn, I guess. I don't know, the amount of movement my hands have to do, it doesn't like that. Okay, let me sip some more coffee before my ice finishes melting. I pretty much only have one more knitting thing to talk about. And then I've got just some more socialization to talk about later. So I'll let you know when that happens. That way, if you don't want to watch it, you can sign out. So, oh, by the way, please subscribe if you like my channel, and that way you can find me easier again to continue to watch. You know, even hit the little like notification button. That way you know when I post another video. If you want. Obviously, I cannot tell you what to do, but It's nice knowing if people are actually enjoying my videos or not. Okay, this is my Packer shawl. I got a little bit of work done on it last weekend when I went to a Packer game, and in fact I started a new color. So this was like, so if you notice, it's all yellow down here, then it's yellow and this like yellow green, then it's just that yellow green, and then it's that yellow green and the light green, and now it's just the light green. Okay, it's kind of how it works. And this doesn't have an actual pattern. It's a I call it a corner to corner shawl. Just cast on 3 and you increase 1 at right the second to the last stitch before the end. Second to the last indicates the end on the correct side until you're halfway done, and then you start decreasing. I'm sorry, my cat is bumping into me. She's trying to get attention. Well, I was looking at my colors and I noticed I have an odd number of colors for the halfway point. So it's not like, okay, when I get to, let's say there's 10 colors, okay, when I've done 5 colors, then I'm halfway through. No, of course not. I have like 9 colors. So I have to start my decreases halfway through one of the colors, which of course is the color I'm working on right now. So I kind of freaked out. So I pulled out all of the current color I'm doing. Stop it. And I literally brought out my little gram scale and I pulled out what I thought was half. No. I weighed all of it, and then I kept pulling out until I got to where the amount that I weighed was half. Made sense, right? And then I just made sure I had a little bit more on the extra, because I'd rather finish with extra than not finish with extra. And then I tied a little stitch marker at the halfway point. So when I reach that, I know that I need to, start my decreases. And then I just wound it back on there. I think it'll work. That way I could just knit during the Packer games and not have to worry, oh, do you think you're halfway through that color yet? So yeah, hopefully that will work. Now, I did realize, once again, I hadn't knitted on this for a long time, and I had forgotten that the end color on here was like a blue. It slowly switched to a blue. Well, there's no blue in the Packer color, and so I actually took all that color off. So this is actually going to be not as big as it should have been. So if I had left it, I probably would have had an even number of colors, but whatever. The only color that does not really Packer will be starting soon, which is this like brown color in here. But it's not like that blue. It's just like a neutral. So I'm like, okay, it's fine, and it's inside. It's part of it. And I thought about taking it out, but I would have to redo the whole yarn. And I was like, no, it's fine. It doesn't bother me that much. Gives a little bit of character. So there is that. Unfortunately, I will not be working on it this weekend. There is no Packer game this weekend. They finished their preseason, and then the following weekend they will be starting their regular season, and so I get to knit on it then. I am happy to know that I'm almost to the halfway point, and hopefully I'll do better about knitting it, and maybe I can actually I would like to have it done by the end of regular season, and if they go on to, I can't think of what it's called. What's after regular season? I can't think of it, but anyway, maybe I could wear it then, because hopefully by that point it's cold. Hopefully. I guess they're cold. Preseason, regular season, and then it's really good. They continue on into, yep. Olive, Evelyn, and Ripley. You can jump on that again. Don't break that. Okay, well, that's about it for the knitting. I told you it's going to be a quick one. And I actually am going to be truthful on it. Well, no, it's not. So, long story short, I will be going out of town. I have to go to a funeral in my home state of Wisconsin. And I'm going to knit while I talk. And I'm knitting on just my purple socks from my vacation. This is the second sock, and I haven't touched it in a while, and I just need to get some work done on it, and I figure while I'm talking I could knit. So anyway, I will be going out of town to Wisconsin next week, and I had, in the back of my head, had been thinking about that there, in the town we'll be in, city, there is a really cool yarn store I've been to a couple times. It's called the Wisconsin Craft Mart. I need to make sure it's still open. It's been 2 years since I've been there. And it's not just yarn, it actually has all different kinds of craft, but like this, and it's a huge store. Not as big as like a Michael's, but it's definitely bigger than your typical local yarn store. But anyway, the second half is all yarn, and that's about the size of a local yarn store. But anyway, I love it, and I've been thinking about, I was like, oh, it would be really nice to go there, but I didn't want to say anything because I will mostly be with my... Hey! A car drove down the road. It's already gone. By the time they run out to the gate to bark at it, it's totally gone by now. Anyway. I will be with my parents. It will be their rental car. It's going to be on their schedule, blah, blah, blah. But luckily, my parents like to shop. And my mom, and so I was going to mention it. First of all, we're there for a funeral. We're not there for something fun. And it is sad. But you have to keep on living, you know, and I'm sure my grandmother would be just fine with it. She was a very crafty lady herself. She didn't knit, she did a lot of sewing. My other grandmother did a lot of quilts sewing, and this grandmother, she did a lot of clothes and like pillows and stuff. She made like our initials and pillows once. Oh, those were so cute. I take some of those back. And I mean my entire family. Sorry, I just assumed you knew what I meant. So anyway, but my mom was like, hey, you know, we're gonna have a day that we're pretty much free. And you know us, we like to go shopping. And the hotel and the shopping we want to do is near that yarn store you like, which is really nice because my parents, sorry, that was Amazon. I was wondering if it was one of my packages. Knowing that, you know, like your parents or your friends and family actually acknowledge that you're a knitter and like yarn and want to go shopping for yarn and things like that. It's really nice. But anyway, so my mom's like, if you want, you can go yarn shopping, and I was like, oh yes. Now I know, because my dad's gonna be at Half Price Books, which I like that too, but I like yarn better. I won't have all the time in the world, which really sucks. Like, I could spend 3 hours in that store and still not have enough time. And I know I won't have that much. I might have an hour, if that. I doubt that. But anyway, so I'm gonna have to be really quick. I'm literally gonna have to run in there and just grab yarn. So, anyway, next my podcast, I should have some more yarn to show you guys. And what I'm planning on looking for is, I want to probably starting next year, once I get done with the temperature blanket, I really want to get into garment knitting. I want to start knitting sweaters and little, t-shirt, or not t-shirts, but like maybe little tank tops or something for the summer. I don't know. One of my favorite podcasts, Selma at Little Big Knits, she does a lot of garments, and I'm like, yeah, and I've been wanting to get into it anyway. Now that I have a desk job where I can actually wear those things. And so I'm gonna, before my trip, I'm gonna look at a couple patterns and just kind of get an idea of, with this type of yarn, this weight of yarn, the size of, sweater that you'll need, this is about how much yarn you'll need. I'm not gonna pick out patterns already, so I'm just gonna, I don't know if it's like 3 or 4 skeins, or whatever I need, and just get a general idea, and just grab whatever colors I like, buy hopefully enough yarn. I'll probably get more than I need, and then when it comes time to start knitting a sweater, find a sweater that goes with that type of, that weight of yarn, and that amount of yardage. So that's the plan. And that's mostly because, it segues into the other thing I want to talk about, which is I want to get into garment knitting, but I'm finding that I'm getting overwhelmed. I haven't really looked at some patterns, but I already feel overwhelmed with the amount of patterns and trying to choose the right one. Sorry, just making sure what my dog was what my dog was chewing on. I'm knitting, she's chewing. Anyway, and part of me was like, well, buy a book that has sweater patterns in it that maybe most of them you actually do like. And not saying you have to knit every single one in there, but just a few to look at and a few, to choose from. Maybe there's 10 patterns in there and you choose 2 of them. And that way it's not so overwhelming, because I know there's just so much on Ravelry. And I've got a couple saved already from this lady I like. She kind of has the same body type that I do. And, okay, to be honest, I am a little heavier. And I absolutely do not like my belly. And so I want a sweater that does not hug the belly. I do not want my rolls showing at all. I can't stand that. And not saying, it's horrible on anybody else. It's just for me. I don't want them showing. And so I don't want a tight fitting sweater. And so I look for sweaters that are more of a box shape, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know sweaters that well yet. So anyway, and so but I am feeling a little overwhelmed with trying to choose which sweaters to knit, even though I won't be doing it until next year. I actually have a sweater I'm supposed to be finishing, so at least I have that. So I don't know. I haven't found a book yet. I've gone to a couple half-price books the last time since I've been thinking about this, and haven't found like a good sweater book other than the really old sweater, like 80s. I don't want that style, but anyway. So I don't know. I was thinking I do have some magazines, which are right here underneath this little llama, although you can't see his head. These are Stop rubbing against the table. These are knitting magazines that I've looked at a couple years ago, but I know there's some garments in there, and so maybe I'll start there, and just look through those and see if I see any patterns that I like in there. And like I said, I do have some of the saved ones, and I have plenty of time to decide, and it's not like I have to decide every single sweater for next year, but I am feeling that overwhelming, which is weird because I never have that. Usually for me, it's I see somebody that's knitted something, and I am like, ooh, I want to knit that, and so then I'll go and find it. Well, I haven't done that much because I don't know. Either every sweater I've seen that I like costs money, which once again, there's nothing wrong with that. I rather have a free pattern. I don't know. The other idea I had was maybe checking out a book at the library. The only thing with that is I looked at them 6 years ago, so who knows. And I was not into garment knitting, but they didn't have a whole lot. Living in Texas, there's not a big industry for knitting, so it's kind of hard. But it's free. Maybe I can just take a look. I do have a printer with a scanner, so maybe if I find one, I could just scan the picture and the pattern. So I'll do that. I was gonna probably do it today, or I was gonna do it today on my way home from work, but I realized I didn't have my library card with me because I haven't gone to the library since before COVID. Olive, hush! Sorry, she has a very high-pitched, screechy voice. So anyway, so I'll probably do that soon. Maybe I will find a book at the Wisconsin Craft Mart. I think that's what it's called. I looked on Amazon, and there's a couple that look nice, but you can only see the front cover, which granted, yes, you don't want to give everything away, but you would think they would at least have extra, more pictures of at least some of the pictures in there. Yeah, you don't have to put, the patterns in there. Obviously, you need to buy it to get the patterns, but which is hilarious. I don't want to pay for a pattern on Ravelry, and those are only a few dollars, but I'm willing to spend $25. Maybe I'll buy a couple on Ravelry. I have bought a couple patterns on there. Anyway. I don't know. I'm also one of those, I like an actual book, which is weird because I spend most of my time on Ravelry. But then I always print off my patterns usually, unless I can just handwrite it. And in fact, like my wrist warmers, I'm using this little journal. So, but anyway, I digressed again. But anyway, so I couldn't tell on Amazon what any of the sweaters looked like in that book, and I didn't want to spend $25 and get it and go, oh, I don't like any of the styles on there, and so I didn't get it. So we'll see. Okay, I think that's it for knitting. Oh, no, there's one more thing. Because I'm going on this trip, I ordered, and I'm flying on a plane, and I was afraid about the whole scissors and blah, blah, blah. Not that I shouldn't need too many scissors, but just in case. I bought one of those, like, pendants that has, like, little razor blades on the inside, and there's, like, these little holes, and you just, like, push the yarn down into those little holes, and it cuts it. And so I bought a set of those to wear on my trip, and I'll wear it as a necklace. That way they can see it, because it is metal, and that way when they, I'll go through the security, and they're like, oh, it's just a necklace. I will also, all my knitting needles will be the bamboo ones, because those don't show up on an x-ray, because it's wood, it's not metal. Like, these are metal. I will not take these onto an airline, just to keep it simple. I don't have to argue with them. I don't have to research the the laws and the rules and whatnot. I will just be using the bamboo knitting needles, which I do for a lot of my projects, so there's not a problem with that at all. I will be taking the wrist warmers that I'm working on if I don't finish, and because not that I'm close at finishing this one, but was sitting at the airport, sitting on a plane, sitting in the hotel, things like that, I'll be knitting a lot. I'm afraid I'll finish these within like the first day or so, and I don't want that to happen and be like, oh crap, I have nothing to do now. And so this weekend will be casting on a new pair of socks. Not that I need another pair of socks. But But that way I have an entire set of socks to work on during the 4 or 5 days. Obviously I won't finish the entire pair, but this is probably about halfway done with the foot, and then just the heel. I'm just so afraid if I actually end up spending all my time just working on the sock project that I will finish this and have nothing to do. And anyway, and so that's why I'm working on this now, because I'm like, I feel guilty. So I get to choose, a new project, a yarn for new projects in, this weekend, whenever. Yeah. Okay. Now I think that's it for knitting related stuff. Good enough. Okay. So if that's all you want to do is listen to me talk about knitting, and not about anything personal, which is not much, I would go ahead and sign off. Goodbye. And for those who want to stay and listen to me blabble, and yes, I meant to say blabble, hello, welcome. Now that I'm here, I'm like, oh crap, what was I talking about? Or what was I going to talk about? I already talked about the trip, and I guess, I don't know. School's going fine. One of my professors offers like this little extra credit, and it's where one of our homeworks is to come up with our own questions that would be good enough to be on like the test, and post it, and then whoever, whatever student answers the first one correctly gets like two extra points. And last week I got it, and so my grade in that class is 101.8 because I only got an 80 on my quiz. So, but anyway, that makes up for it, plus some. And I'm not a very good test taker. I have a horrible memory. I work really hard. I that's why I'm great with my homework, is I will sit there for hours. I'll probably be complaining about it the entire time, but I'll sit there for hours working on it to make sure I get everything right. Where in a test, you have limited time and you don't have any notes to look at. So, but anyway, so I figured the extra credit will help with that, because this is going to be a pretty hard class this semester. So, my plan is that each week or whatever, we keep checking, and to wait until I see a student post a question. And as soon as the first student posts the question, I am going to look up the answer and post my answer and hopefully get it. Obviously, there's going to be times where I'm not going to get it. Somebody's going to beat me to it, or I'm going to answer wrong, especially if they post that question before I've even gotten to that chapter or whatever, which is exactly what happened this morning. I had been kind of keeping an eye on it, but I haven't started the next chapter because this is an online course, by the way, because the current chapter, which is chapter 2, the quiz is today, which is why I'm podcasting now and not doing the quizzes, because I'm avoiding doing the quiz. And so once I get that quiz done, then my brain will be on chapter 3. Well, to make sure I wanted that extra credit, I had been watching it, and this morning when I was at work, I just quickly looked, and somebody had posted a question, and no one had answered it yet. And I was like, oh, here's my chance. And it's over the professor's lecture, video lectures that he posts, not over the textbook, which is about the same. And so I read the question, and then I was like, well, I can watch stuff while I'm at work. And so I just kept on my mind what that question was talking about. And I'm like, okay, when I'm working and I'm listening to the video, I don't really care. Right now, I don't really care about anything except what that subject, that question was about. And then I'll start listening to it. I'll watch those videos later and take notes and stuff when I'm ready for that chapter. So I did that. And I'm pretty sure I got that question right. So here's 2 more extra credit. Woohoo! I am really hoping, sorry, an ice cube. I am really hoping to get that most weeks. That's my plan. and I think it's going to work out really well. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep looking at it, because just in case I got that one wrong, maybe the next question, if no one's answered that one or whatever, or if they, whatever, I'll answer. So I'll do that for the first like couple. And that's what I did last time. I answered the first like 3 or 4, and I got it. So, yay! I have a lot to do this weekend. It is the Labor Day weekend, and luckily that's going to help with timing to get everything ready for my trip. I've got to get, as ahead of my homework as I can, because I just don't want to have to do any of the homework while I'm on my trip. And in fact, I've got it where I should only, I'll be a little bit behind, should only have to read the chapter. And I figure I could sit in my hotel room knitting and read that chapter, and I'll be fine with that. I just didn't want the idea, and I mean, if I don't feel like it, it's fine. I will get the homework done. I'll be just a little behind, but not too bad. But I just didn't want to have a deadline and stress about it and have to do actual homework while on a trip. It's not a fun thing to do. So I've asked the professor if I can move, do a quiz a little early, and he said yes, blah, blah, blah. So got that all situated. Also have to make sure that my work, stuff I have to do at work is as done as I can before I leave. There'll be a few things that one of my coworkers will have to pick up just because I just can't do it. Payroll, because you're waiting on payroll hours, blah, blah, blah. So I've been working extra hard last few days just to make sure I'm ahead on that. I also need to mow this weekend. I need to do laundry. I need to pack. Just a few little things, because after this weekend I only have 2 days, and most of those 2 days are going to be work, and yeah, I'll probably be working late at least one of those days to probably catch up. I'm sorry, that is fuzzy. So it's gonna be an interesting weekend. I also thought, it should be fine if I just go at a steady pace and just do a little bit each time. I do have the cat sit, so I'll be in and out of the house. But luckily the lady I cat sit for is literally like the next neighborhood over, which doesn't really make sense. It's because there's a dam for the lake, so it's just on the other side of the dam. It literally is like a 3-minute drive, if that. And so it'll be fine. It'll be great. I usually go in my PJs. No one's gonna see me except her cats, and her cats are not gonna know I'm wearing PJs. But I thought, when I'm not doing my homework and stuff, because I usually like to space that kind of stuff out. I'm like, who wants to do it all at once? Plus your brain just starts melting after a while. Is maybe doing a Harry Potter movie marathon. I haven't watched the movies in a long time, and I think this weekend maybe it'll be a good weekend for that, especially since today is September 1st, and in the Harry Potter world, in the wizarding world, September 1st is the first day of school for Hogwarts, and so maybe I'll start that tonight. I thought about the audiobooks again. Obviously I can't do that in one weekend, and I'm just not ready for it. I started listening to them again, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and I probably said this before, but school bus. Hey, hush. And I was able to say the lines verbatim before they even happened, and I was like, oh crap, I know it too well. Poop. And so I'm gonna kind of just hold off for a little bit until I get desperate, where I'm like, I have to listen to these. But once again, I haven't watched the movies in a long time, so maybe I'll do a broken up Harry Potter marathon this weekend, which would be good. As long as I can get past the first 2 movies. There's nothing wrong with them. They did a great job. It's the kids, they're so young, and I'm 35 years old. I'm like, oh my god, you're just a little kid, and little kid problems. The first one's fine because it's like introductory to that world and it's really cute. The second one is okay, except it feels a lot like that first one where it's kitty stuff, but then you add in frickin' Professor Lockhart, and I can't stand him. He's the most annoying character in that series. Now, granted, he needs to be in there. J.K. Rowling did not do wrong by putting him in there. I guess but I personally cannot stand that type of person, and in fact, I don't like Umbridge because she's a flat out B, but she's not nails on a chalkboard to me like Lockhart is. I can't stand him. Granted, thank goodness he loses his memory and becomes somewhat of a different person, so it's like justice. I know this sounds so horrible, but I can't stand that. It's all about me. Just, let's put it this way. One of my coffee mugs I got from my mom, I love bees. It says Queen Bee on that, and for the longest time I did not like it because I don't consider myself a queen. I don't consider myself this important person that everybody should bow down to and blah blah blah. I don't like that. Now, if you're a queen, you're a queen, fine. But I just didn't like that title. I'm just a simple person having fun, enjoying life, doing what I want to do. You know, whatever. But I don't feel like I am an important person because I am a person, but it's hard to explain. But I'm not this all-powerful, I'm number one, screw everybody else. No, I can't stand that. And that's what Lockhart is. Oh, he's so annoying. He's so into himself. Oh. Anyway, so once I get past the first two movies, then it's good. So I usually, like tonight, my plan is I'll try to get those two movies done the first round, the first night or whatever, if I do a couple days worth, just get them over with. And then the following day, like tomorrow, will be, okay, now we get into actual Harry Potter. I need to get more Harry Potter knitting related stuff. I got a lot of bee stuff. I need to get some like Harry Potter charms or pins or something. Speaking of pins, in fact, I've got a pin right here. It's probably gonna move. I love pins, but I usually end up putting them on my backpack for school, and I've lost a couple, but it happens. You just buy more then. Although I lost a really cute one. It was a Harry Potter themed one. It was big, so it was 2 prongs, and it was like a miniature view of the Ravenclaw common room. I wish I could show you, but I lost it. I'll have to find it again on Etsy. I am a Ravenclaw. Actually, this would be really cute on there. I'm trying to remember where I was going with this. Pins on my backpack. I won't be going to school much longer. And so I was like, what am I going to do with all these pins? Well, Selma at Little Big Knits, she puts them on like the corner of her knitting bags, and it has like a little collection. And I was like, that is such a cool idea because I can look at them, I can see them, this and that. And I have one right now. No, this is not the coolest one. And I actually ordered a couple of pins from Amazon. I'm waiting. One of them is, I think it says like knit fast, die warm, or something like that. And I can't remember the other one. And I've got a couple other cute ones. Just some random stuff. Not all of them are knitting. In fact, this is not knitting related. This is Women in Aviation pin I got a couple years ago at the air show I went to. And actually, I was just looking like this with the pink and the dark color and the white would look perfect on this knitting bag. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Miss Selma is a freaking genius. And sorry, my dogs are chewing on a bone. Just making sure they're chewing on a bone. And so I think I'm going to do that, especially once I don't carry a backpack around anymore. There. Ta-da. But yes. I can't wait for those new ones to come in. Like, I have a Packer pin. I can put it on my Packer bag. It's on the backpack right now. I think we can keep them on the backpack until I'm finished. I don't know. I keep falling off. I keep losing them. I've lost like 2 really good ones in them. It's those stupid little rubber pieces. They don't stay on very well. And in fact, I actually took super glue and super glued the pegs into the little rubber stopper things. And I think one of them still fell off. I don't know. I like this one has the metal where you have to like pinch it. It has the metal one. And I haven't had any problems with those. But those little rubber ones, yes. So, I don't know. I'm wondering if the pins are made the same where it has that little indentation where this locks in. And I wonder if you could just buy these. And then maybe I could still just use these. You know, switch them out. Maybe I'll look into that. Making sure it was straight. Level. Centered. Okay. I'm almost at an hour, a minute. You know, one of the ladies I was watching podcast, she did that today. She did it to me. I think that's it. So, oh, one more thing. I was at my parents' house for my niece's 2nd birthday party. And we were just sitting there talking, and I looked over at the wall, and I saw this beautiful painting. Now, if everybody knows me, they know I love teacups. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to have to steal that picture from you. And she's like, and it was behind her. She's like, you're talking about the teacups with the bird, right? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, it's actually yours. No, whether she's telling the truth or not. She goes, I actually bought it for you. And I'm like, well, why is it on your wall? And she goes, I just, just see what it looked like. And so I feel kind of bad because maybe she didn't mean to give it to me. I figured she would because she doesn't have anything with teacups. I mean, birds. She does like birds. And she goes, no, it's perfect colors. It's teacups. I love it. It's so dainty and cute and just beautiful. Now, the only problem is I don't have a lot of wall space in my kitchen because I have shelves of teacups as my decor. But I've been meaning to, I don't know, but my brain tells me all the teacups go into the kitchen. I can't put this in a different room. But anyway, I've been meaning to redecorate my bedroom. And I've gotten a few things and I've put them aside, and I just kind of slowly deciding where to put things and blah blah blah, and just haven't gotten around to it. It was actually one of the things I meant to do this last summer break, and I never got around to it. But anyway, so I'm thinking about putting that in there. I don't know. I haven't decided. So I figured before I put it on the wall, I can at least show it to you guys because it's so cute. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'll let you guys go. I'm gonna go take my quiz, get that out of the way. At least, hey, get it out of the way. And then I need to do another little bit of homework. I really should start reading the chapter, maybe, and then start watching Harry Potter. And then, anyway, you don't need to know my schedule this weekend. Okay, guys. Well, have a great and wonderful Labor Day, although I don't know when this will actually be uploaded. Sometimes it takes days, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. We'll see you next time, and I'll have lots of yarn to show you guys. Oh, if you're still watching this and like knitting, maybe send me links to some cute sweaters for people with a belly. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, send me stuff and I'll see if I like them or not. All right, bye.